Good evening. Please stand. Please join me in reciting the Pledge Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to introduce Pearl Emerson, who's going to sing our national anthem.
Please sing. Home.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
To the front, march!
I'd like to call upon Father Frank O'Laughlin, pastor of Jesus Savior Church, to give the invocation.
Almighty and eternal God, you have revealed your glory to all nations. Lord of power and might, wisdom and justice, through you authority is rightly administered, laws are enacted, judgment is decreed. Lord, bless all the citizens of Newport. Lord, bless all those who have been elected to serve the citizens of Newport, and bless those who will be appointed to serve. May they serve with integrity, honesty, and for the common good. Fill them with knowledge and wisdom in their decisions. Lord, bless us all tonight and every day. We pray to you, who is Lord and God forever and ever. Amen.
It's my pleasure to introduce Senate President Teresa Paiva-Weed, who will give the oath of office.
At this time, I would invite you all to be seated, please. I'd like to welcome you all here this evening. And I have the enviable job of introducing all the elected and former elected officials that are here, so I'm going to do the best I can. But before I do that, I want to thank the Newport Artillery and ask you, as well as Pearl, for that wonderful entrance, and ask you to give them all a warm round of applause. I also want to thank Father Frank as well. And at this time, I would like to recognize a number of officials, both present and former, that are here, who had indicated that they will be coming. I'd like to recognize the many former mayors we have here this evening, Harry Winthrop, Stephen Wallach, Paul Gaines, as well as David Roderick. Special welcome, and if you could give them a round of applause. We also have former Councilman Tony Simpson and Michael Farley here joining us this evening. And colleagues from the state or former state members, we have Representative Peter Martin, who is here with us this evening. Peter. We have the Honorable J. Clement Bud Cicilline, the Honorable J. Russell Jackson, and the Honorable Christopher Boyle, I believe, the three. I knew I was leaving someone out, the Honorable Senator Mary Ellen Goodwin. I'm going to find myself in big trouble. In addition, we have here our Superintendent of Schools. Thank you for opening up this evening and all the work that I know goes into preparing. Welcome, Colleen. And former school committee member George Triplett as well. Welcome, George. Please don't hesitate to pass a note if we've left anyone off. But I know that we also have, coming from around the state or have responded, Mayors Diosa, Avedisian, Secretary of State-elect Nellie Gorbea, and Councilwoman Cano from Pawtucket. So please give a warm welcome to them. I do want to take just a minute to congratulate all the members elected today, both in the school committee and the council, and also to congratulate each of you, all of their families and friends who supported them, not only during the election, but that your continued support makes their commitment to public service possible. Newport is a special place, diverse in population and geography, and when you look at those that are being sworn in this evening, they reflect that diversity. I want to mention, I think on the City Council, this may be the first time that we have 4 women on the council, so I think that's a first. I think we also have our first Latino council member as well. Recognize John Flores in that. And while it's his second time being sworn in, I have to mention that we do have as well Councilman Marco Camacho, who was actually born in Madeira, Portugal. So we really do have a great mix. The school committee reflects that same diversity, and whether it's from the Ocean Drive to the northernmost parts of the city, each and every one of our communities and neighborhoods, each age, we have young members as well as, nobody's old, some that are more senior members of the committee, and that represents in these 2 bodies elected that each of our communities, each of our neighborhoods has a voice in the governance of our schools and city council present on the stage tonight. And that's something I think we can be proud of. So with that, I would like to, at this time, ask that the members of the school committee present their credentials to the city clerk. Laura? Each of you should have your credentials in front of you. If you would present them to the clerk, and then please take a place standing behind your chair. Thank you. I would ask you at this time for all the members of the school committee to please raise your right hand. Now I'm going to say "I," and I'm going to ask you to say your name, and I mean your name. All right, and then repeat each of the phrases after me. I,
David Carlin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
and I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
and I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
the duties of a member of the school committee
the duties of a member of the school committee
until I will be legally discharged therefrom.
until I will be legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations. At this time, I would call upon Chair-elect Joeva Gaines to introduce the school committee members for brief remarks. Joeva?
Good evening. I am honored to introduce the newly elected members of the Newport School Committee. Each of them, in turn, will have a few remarks that they would like to share with you. Rebecca Boland, David R. Collin III, Dr. Sandra Flowers, David Haynos Jr., Vice Chairman-elect, Robert Leary, and Kathleen Sylvia.
Good evening and a heartfelt welcome to everyone in attendance here tonight. The really great thing about going first is that I don't have to worry about repeating anything anyone else has said tonight. I will keep this very short, and hopefully it will set a precedent for the other remarks to be made by those who come after me. First, I want to thank my 6 beautiful, accomplished children. They are my living proof of the value of investing in a quality education. They provide me with the stamina and inspiration to advocate on behalf of all children in Newport. Next, I could not do what I do without the love and support of my husband of 30 years, Greg, a 24-year career naval officer. He commutes every Monday down to Washington, D.C., so that our family can live here in Newport in the community that we have come to call home. My husband is my sounding board, my cheerleader, and my rock. He puts up with multiple phone calls each day and rarely complains about sharing me. And finally, a big thank you to this community who have entrusted me and my fellow committee members with making Newport Public Schools a district we can all be proud of. I feel privileged to be part of this new and excited, forward-thinking team who, along with our superintendent, are committed to making the challenge a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good evening and welcome. Just a few brief remarks, as our chair-elect had said. Thank you, Becky, for those remarks. First of all, I'd like to thank God for the opportunity to be here this evening and for everything that He has blessed me and my family with. I'd like to thank my family, my parents, my mother and father, without whom nothing good in my life would ever be possible. I'd like to thank the voters of Newport for giving me this opportunity to serve you. And I'd like to thank my wife, my beautiful wife, who has stuck with me through thick and thin, and who has always supported me in anything that I do. And I love you, and I thank you for that. I'd also like to close with a note of thanks to 2 of my friends one of whom is with us tonight, and that is our friend Harry Winthrop, the mayor of the city of Newport. I'd like to thank Harry for everything he's done for the city and for his personal friendship. I'd also like to thank my friend who is obviously unable to be here tonight, but he's a friend of all of ours, and he's a man who never turned his back on me and who always told me yes for anything that I asked for, and that is our good friend Jim Beccari. Jim passed away just a short while ago, and I sure do wish he could be here tonight to see this. Took us a while, Jim, but we did it. Thank you all very much.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the voters of the City of Newport who continue to have confidence in me to return me to my fourth term on the Newport School Committee. And my gratitude, too, goes to the many colleagues, and I still call the teachers, past and present, who are in the Newport system and beyond, my colleagues, because I still remain a teacher, I think, above all. That is my chosen profession, is my life's work. And I thank my many, many friends and family, extended, and my cousin Pat, who's stuck by me through all of this. But being a teacher, I had to find a couple of quotations that I want to leave you with. And one is by a person who had some indirect connections with the city of Newport. He said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." And that's from Benjamin Franklin. The other quote comes from a very, very well-known person connected with Newport and still today has a connection with Newport schools. He said, "The strength of the United States is not the gold at Fort Knox or the weapons of mass destruction that we have, but the sum total of the education and the character of our people." This, ladies and gentlemen, is a statement by our very own Senator Claiborne Pell. Senator Pell and his wife came to my class many, many years ago to bring us a flag that we had asked for, because I guess the school department couldn't afford to get a new one. So we wrote to him and asked for a flag that had flown over the Capitol, and I got a call one day that Senator and Mrs. Pell would be coming to our class. And he did, and he spoke for such a long while to my youngsters that are in that 5th grade. And to this day, I remember the many, many great things that happened when I was teaching and the many, many great things that are happening in today's school. And I hope each and every person here spreads the word to people, to your friends, to your family, to come into our schools and see for yourselves the wonderful things that are happening. Again, thank you all very much.
Good evening, and I would like to, I want to thank the voters of the city of Newport for having the confidence in me, my life experiences, for giving me the ability to identify some of the issues that are faced with our schools. And I'm absolutely excited to be given the opportunity to be here today on this council with these fine people, and even more honored to become the vice chair-elect to help tackle some of the problems that are in front of us. It is a happy occasion, and I'd be remiss without thanking my family, especially my wife, Teresa, who, she's so excited that I'm on the school committee, I gotta tell you. I have so much time. But anyway, I love her, I love my family, and thank you very much.
Good evening and welcome. I'm looking forward to these upcoming 2 years. We will obviously be facing difficult decisions and financial challenges, but I see the next 2 years as an opportunity to redirect ourselves and make the Newport School Department better. But we have to work together in new and different ways, and I'm confident this can be done under the leadership of the team of Chairman Gaines, Vice Chair Hanos, and Superintendent Jermaine. However, this is not the time to be talking about finances and difficult decisions. It's time to thank the voters. But before I say anything else, at this time I'd be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to personally congratulate all the city council members and all the school committee members sworn in tonight. So thank you, voters. But always remember, this is your seat right here. It's not mine. And my wife would like to thank you. I know Mrs. Bowen talked about her 6 kids. I also have 6 kids. They're older. But she'd like to thank you for electing me so I get out of the house more often. So, again, always remember one thing. This is your seat. This is not our seats up here. This is your seat. And so that being said, we need an active community engagement from you in whatever form that may be. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to be here this evening, and after many years, I'm here in a new capacity. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family for their support and encouragement, my son and daughter-in-law, Todd and Dina, and my grandchildren, Sarah, Emily, Connor, and Caroline, and my daughter, Kristen. Also, my sisters, Barbara, Joan, and Gail, and brother-in-law, Lou, who all worked hard to help me and encourage me. I also want to thank all the voters of Newport for entrusting me with this job. And my promise to you is that I will work very hard to do whatever I can to ensure that our students have the best education possible for future success. Thank you.
As I'm sure you have gathered from the remarks of the school committee members, that you have elected people who are committed to continue on the path of excellence and school improvement that this committee is set about. In the past 2 years, there have been distinctive and remarkable positive change in the attitude of most Newporters toward our public schools, and that was welcome. This has been reflected in improved communication, collaboration, trust, and mutual respect between city council members and school committee members. I firmly believe this relationship will grow. It will flourish. We must prepare our children to take our place as responsible citizens. That's our mission. If we don't prepare them, our society as we know it will not survive. My greatest hope for Newport is that when the goals are developed for the new city strategic plan, the education of our youngest citizens will be one of the top priorities. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And if at this time, I would request that the city council members present their credentials to the city clerk. Then please take your position behind your chairs, if you would, and raise your right hand. Once again, I'll ask you after I say the word. After I say the word "I," I'd ask each of you to say your name. I.
John Flores.
I, Jean Napolitano.
I, Marco T. Camacho.
Lynn Underwood Segley.
I, Justin McLaughlin.
And then repeat after me. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, and I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of the Newport City Councilor until I shall be legally discharged therefrom. Congratulations. At this time, I call upon the city clerk, Laura Swistak, as chairman pro tem, to call the council to order.
As chairman pro tem, I declare the council to be in session. The first item on the agenda is the election of a chairman who shall have the title of mayor. Nominations are now in order.
Madam Chair, I hereby nominate Jean Marie Napolitano as mayor.
I second the motion.
Madam
Are there
Clerk,
any other
I move-
nominations?
I move that the nominations be closed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? One ballot has been cast for Jean Marie Napolitano as chair of this council. She has been a legally elected chair of the council for the 2014-2016 term.
At this time, if Jean would approach. Please raise your right hand. I
I, Jean Napolitano,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the Constitution
of this United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and the Providence Plantation,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of mayor of the city of Newport
the duties of mayor of the city of Newport,
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I call for the nomination of the vice chair.
I nominate Marco Camacho to serve as vice chairman.
I second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations?
Madam Chair, I move that the nominations be closed.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I direct the city clerk to cast one ballot for Marco Camacho as vice chairman.
At this time, I would ask you to raise your right hand. I
I, Marco T. Camacho,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
that I will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
and I will faithfully discharge,
and I will faithfully discharge,
to the best of my
to
ability,
the best of my ability,
the duties of vice chairman of the council
the duties of vice chairman of the council,
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations.
Are there any nominations for city solicitor?
I hereby nominate Joseph J. Nicholson, Jr. to serve as city solicitor for the 2014 to 2016 term of office.
I second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed, Madam Chair.
Second.
All in favor of directing the city clerk to cast one ballot for Joseph J. Nicholson, Jr. as city solicitor for the 2014-2016 term of office, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. I'd ask the city solicitor to name his appointments of assistant city solicitor.
Madam Chair, members of the council, my appointments for Assistant City Solicitors are Christopher J. Bean as Assistant Solicitor for Civil Litigation and Gerard Galvin as Assistant Solicitor for Law Enforcement.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that the council give approval to the appointment of Christopher J. Bean as Assistant Solicitor for Civil Litigation and Gerard Galvin as Assistant Solicitor for Law Enforcement.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
I would ask if the solicitor and the two assistants please approach and raise their right hands at this time. I
Joseph J. Nicholson, Jr.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations,
and I will faithfully discharge,
and I will faithfully discharge
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities
the duties of the position to which I have been appointed,
the duties of the position to which I have been appointed,
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
until I shall be legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
At this time, I would defer to Mayor Napolitano for introduction of the council members and a brief inaugural address.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to present the council-elect, or the council for the 2014-2016 term of office, and we'll begin with brief remarks from the council. I'd like to introduce Marco Camacho.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since we just celebrated Thanksgiving this past weekend, and we now celebrate our inaugurations during the holiday season, I believed it fitting that I should take this time to also give thanks. I first off want to thank you, the citizens of First Ward, for believing in me 2 years ago and believing me in again this year, and even allowing me to run unopposed. I strive to be the counselor you always elected me to be. Thank you to both Mayors Harry Winthrop and Mayor Gene Napolitano, who over the last 2 years mentored me to be the best counselor I could personally be. Thank you to Vice Chairs Naomi Neville and Justin McLaughlin and my fellow counselors for voting me as Vice Chair for this term, and in doing so, expressing your confidence in me. And to my friends, family, and especially my parents, who are here in this auditorium tonight, and who nearly 2 decades ago first watched me walk across this stage as a graduate of the Rogers class of 1995, I thank you the most. I remember the pride you both expressed all those years ago for that boy that walked across this stage, and I hope that I've become the man that you raised me to be. So this is for you. Thank you.
Everything does get a little confusing here. I'm going to introduce the rest of the council members from my left to right, and then they can get up and make their remarks. To your left, to my right, is Councilman John Flores, Councilwoman Naomi Neville, again, Councilman Marco Camacho, Councilwoman Lynn Segley, and Councilman Justin McLaughlin. So, John, if you'd like to come up and share.
Thank you, Mayor Napolitano. I'd like to begin by thanking some very special guests for being here this evening. Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea, who's been so supportive, and she's also the first Latina and the first woman to hold this position. I would also like to thank the Honorable James Diosa, Mayor of Central Falls, who's here showing his support, Carlos Toban, the representative-elect from the 58th District, Sandra Cano, Councilwoman-elect, and I'd also like to thank Gonzalo Cuervo, who's the Chief of Staff for Mayor Angel Tavares in Providence. Thank you all for coming. I really hope that this council is prepared to take some very bold initiatives. Mayor Diosa, during his tenure, hired a grant writer that generated $1 million in revenue for his city. These are the kind of initiatives that we need to be implementing right here in Newport. Mayor Diosa also recently consolidated his IT and HR departments, thus saving the city about $56,000 a year. These are the type of initiatives that we need to be implementing right here in Newport. Councilwoman-elect Sandra Cano, during her time on the school committee, with forward-thinking initiatives and strategies, was able to raise their graduation rate from 60 to 82% in just 2 years. These are the type of initiatives that we need to be implementing right here in Newport. I would also like to thank the several thousand supporters that voted for me. It's an unbelievably humbling experience. And for those of you that did vote for me, I hope I can prove myself over the next 2 years, earn your respect, and hopefully one day, if I decide to run again, your vote. I'd like to thank my staff at Drupal Connect. The last 5 months, you've been moonlighting as my campaign staff and really working diligently and so hard. Thank you so much for all of your support. And finally, I'd like to thank my family, my son, nephew. You're absolutely spectacular, wonderful, beautiful, and so supportive. And thank you for acting really concerned every time I would ask you over the last 5 months, honey, do I stand a chance? Do you really think I could win this thing? And acting not annoyed. Thank you. You're my rock and my pillar. I love you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Pavaweed for being here tonight and giving us her time, and everyone else who came out tonight. I very much appreciate all the support. I look forward to the next 2 years. I think that we can do great things. I look forward to the council that we have here. I look forward to the school committee. I wanted to reiterate what Joe Eva said, too, about our improved relations and communication between school and city, how nice it's been in the last 2 years to sort of create a working environment that feels productive, bold, like Mr. Flores was saying, but able to get things done with a new form of respect and transparency, and I think we can keep that going. I want to say thank you so much to my family, to Gwendolyn and Mary and my husband, Jeff, who are always there for me. A quick shout out to the former Mayor Harry, whose last words, I think, at the first night Christmas thing was, Gwenny Rothermel, you're wanted at the stage, your mom has to go to the swearing in. So she had run off, but it's okay. And just to reiterate how appreciative I am of everyone here in Newport for welcoming me and my family when we moved here, for supporting us and supporting me with trying to help then the city. It's been such an honor and a pleasure of getting involved with this wonderful city. It has so much to offer, but it's truly wonderful because of the people that are here, how many people give up their time, they volunteer, they get involved, they really care about Newport. And every day I work on the council, that care is felt. And again, thank you very much, and I look forward to the next 2 years.
I think I've made my wife nervous as she's seen me writing things down because she's given me advice. When you speak, be grateful, be authentic, and be brief. I want to recognize the council I serve with. I never thought I'd be here for the 5th time, and Part of the reason for still being here is the people I've served with over the past. They say Steve Wallach's here. I want to recognize Steve as somebody who probably is responsible for getting me to run the first time, although he doesn't know it. I want to recognize Harry Winthrop, who is a gentleman and a gracious person to work with. And you won't be with us, Harry, but I will miss you, but I will benefit from what I've learned by working with you for the last 2 years. I want to thank Mike Farley. Mike was my opponent 4 years ago, and as Steve Wallach said at my wedding, how can these people all be your friends? If this many people liked you, you would have won by more than 9 votes. We learn a lot from the people we serve with, and I just want to recognize that Mike and I haven't always agreed, but I've learned a lot from you. Thank you. I also want to recognize Tony Simpson. Jim McCarry's not here, unfortunately. He's part of the history of the 2nd, 3rd Ward, however it works out, but Tony, thanks for coming, because he's also somewhat responsible for me running 8 years ago. Obviously, I want to thank the voters for giving me the chance to serve 2 more years for the city of Newport. I want to thank my friends and supporters, particularly Bill Verreicher and Peter Crowley, who opened up their businesses for my fundraisers. You don't get to run for free. You do need support, and I thank those people who provided that support. I want to thank my family members, my wife, Chris, my daughter, Frances, and my son, David, who actually did something very important in 1989 by walking across this stage and becoming a Rogers High School graduate. That's almost as important as my being up here tonight. I will just say in concluding that I am grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve. I'm very optimistic about working with my fellow councilors, the school committee, with the city administration, the staff. As I think I have said before, actually, Harry, didn't I say it during your inauguration speech that I gave before you got to speak 2 years ago? But an important component here, and we can't forget it, is the city succeeds not because of the decisions we make, but because of the people who carry them out. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the workers of the city of Newport, because they're the ones that make us look good every day. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you, friends and family, for being here tonight. I'd like to thank Teresa Pivoweed and also Alan Bernstein and the Rogers High School Orchestra, which I feel my son, of course, played in the orchestra for years and has a soft spot in my heart. Congratulations to my fellow Newport City Council members and the school committee members, and to the voters of Newport's 2nd Ward. I'm humbled by your faith in me, and I will work every day to help make Newport a great place to live, work, and enjoy. We have a lot of work to do, and I promise to find common ground with my fellow council members so that Newport makes the progress it so deeply deserves. Newport is a dynamic city, and it has reinvented itself over and over, and its resilience is quite extraordinary. Whenever Newport has faced challenges, it's come back stronger and more vibrant, and I'm thrilled to be a part of Newport's ever-changing nature. Thank you to my husband, Vincent, and my children, Mia and Chase, who have always supported me. Of course, they're very successful graduates here of Rogers High School, and I'm very proud of them. I'd also like to thank Mayors Harry Winthrop and Steve Wallach, who have been so loyal and who have supported me and given me such great advice. Every phone call, text message has been so appreciative, and I would not be standing here without you. I embrace this challenge, and I hope to make you proud. Thank you very much.
When we were waiting in the room outside and I was watching everybody come in, I knew I should have worn my red dress. Everybody up here is black, gray, and white. I'd like to thank, first of all of you for coming and sharing this special occasion with us. It's a privilege and an honor to be elected to the Newport City Council and the Newport School Committee. Every member on our council comes from a different perspective, but with the ultimate goal of making Newport a better place to live, work, and visit. We have our work cut out for us. Progress on our roads, our school, infrastructure, and communication with our citizens was emphasized as I met with each of the council members. One of the major areas we'd like to address is communication. Through a measure initiated several years ago, we started with Engage Newport. We want to make it easier for residents to address their concerns with the appropriate staff. We will be reviewing our strategic plan, our comprehensive plan, and many other important documents as we move forward together. We certainly appreciate those in the community who have taken the time and the energy to participate at our council meeting, serve on our boards and commissions, or simply made a phone call to share their concerns with individual council members. Communication is a two-way street, and we recognize how important it is to receive input from all of you. Because of the vibrancy of Newport, Council struggles daily with the balancing of our needs of our citizens and our economy. No one person has all the answers, nor does the Council, which is why it's important to hear from you and respect another's perspective. I look forward to working with my fellow councilors on your behalf, and we'll work diligently. Our diversity is our strength. We are very fortunate to live in a country and a community where everybody has a voice. In closing, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my good friend, Senator Teresa Paiva Weed, Senate President of Rhode Island, the ROTC, Rogers Band, the Artillery, and Pearl Emerson, who will be closing these ceremonies. Absolutely beautiful voice. She first won the Beach Idol contest about 4 years ago, and I had her come to a council meeting to sing. And she's just has a tremendous voice, and she is a product of our Newport School Department. And I'd also like to thank my husband, Jack, my children, Tracy, Sean, Mike, Joe, my daughter-in-laws, who I really consider my daughters, Jen, Megan, and Andrea. And I just thank you for your support and the sacrifices you've made over the years, which has allowed me to participate in this process. I also would like to thank former council members, former mayors, for their wisdom, for their service to the city of Newport. May God bless our country and especially the community we love, Newport. I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. I'd like to call on Rabbi Mark Mandel to give the benediction, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor Napolitano, Senator. I am delighted to be here this evening to now offer this benediction in honor of our newly elected officials. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be towards you and grant you peace Amen.
Amen.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her with the light and the might from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Let's have another round of applause for Pearl Emerson. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. I'd like a special round of applause. Kathy Sylvia managed not to try and run things, and Laura Swistak on her first occasion did a great job. On behalf of the council, the school committee, and the other officials elected tonight, I'd ask you to join us in the back for a brief reception. And one last round of applause for all our guests.
This is longer than the first one.